thought we would have some fun today. In the form of biblical exegesis. Yes, the two can go together. They're not mutually exclusive. You don't look all that convinced. Okay, well, we'll do our best. We are going to have some fun. A little word play this morning. I want to think about those 3 question and answers that Jesus had with Peter. Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" And Peter said, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." In part, there are 3 questions and 3 answers, because how many times did Peter deny Jesus? 3 times. So this is rehabilitation, right? Rehabilitation for Peter. But there's something more going on here, and I wanted to sort of peel the onion, layers of the onion with you. The wordplay is invisible to us in English, but in Greek it's very, very obvious, and I'm going to try to talk you through it, so stay with me. The Gospel writer, Jesus and Peter, use 2 different words that we have translated as love in that question and answer. And that's really significant, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Jesus says to Peter, "Peter, do you agape me more than these?" That's the word that Jesus uses. And Peter replies, "Yes, Lord, kai kurios, you know that I Philos you. You know that I love you." Jesus uses the word agape. Peter uses the word Philos. 2 different words, but translated as love in English. And those 2 words mean very different things. Of course they do, otherwise they wouldn't be different. Philos, you're probably more aware of Philos, Philadelphia, for instance. Brotherly or sisterly love. It's a kind of love that you have for a very best friend, or someone who, is more than kin to you. Someone who's of the same color and stripe. Maybe someone who you've gone through great trials with. Someone who's got your back and they've got your back. That's Philos. Agape is a very different word. And actually it's interesting that the word agape is not used that much in classical Greek. It was a Greek word that Christians kind of took over and made their own. And agape for Christians means, what would be a good translation? Godly love, I guess. Unconditional love. Love which doesn't come, love which is just freely given without expecting anything in return. Certainly can be sacrificial. Certainly can be all-consuming. And that's the word that Jesus uses. So Jesus says to Peter, "Peter, will you godly love? Do you unconditionally love me more than these?" And Peter says in reply, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you with brotherly love. What more can I give? What more can I give?" And Jesus says again, "Peter, do you unconditionally love me?" And Peter replies again, "Yes, Lord, you know that I brotherly love you." And then the 3rd time, and this is the really fun part. This is why it's fun. You having fun? Like pulling teeth? But with anesthesia, so it's not quite so painful. Now here's the really fun part, because the third time, Jesus says, "Peter, do you brotherly love me? Do you Philos love me more than these?" And Peter again says, "Yes, Lord, I brotherly love you. Of course I do. You know everything." How interesting. How interesting. This is what I think it means. But you can Google it later on. Jesus invites Peter into this agape, into this transformational, into this godly, into this unconditional love. That's what Jesus offers Peter. That's what Jesus offers us. Because that's the kind of love, that's God love. That's God love. And Jesus is inviting Peter into God's love. Do you want to experience this kind of unconditional love, which, you know, is beyond affinity, is beyond conditions, is beyond reciprocity, or, you know, I've got my back and I've got your back, so to speak. God loves us as we are and expects nothing in return. And that's the kind of love that is on offer to us. And that's the kind of love that is God's dream for the world. And Peter isn't quite there yet. He's on the road. He's on the road. He does have brotherly love, but he loves Jesus because he's Jesus. Because he's seen Jesus and he knows Jesus. And he has a connection with Jesus. But Jesus is inviting him to take us a further step. How much more can you love? Can you love as God loves? But then that third time, Jesus comes down to Peter's level, doesn't he? In a way, he says, okay, we'll start with brotherly love. We'll start with Philos. Can you give me that brotherly love? And Peter says, yes, I can do that. I can do that. Which makes sense of that whole description about what's going to happen to Peter in later life, isn't it? That's why it's there. Because what Jesus is saying is, you're here at Philos right now, but there will come a time, and you will be ready somewhere down the line when you will embrace and experience agape. The kind of love that I have with the Creator, and the kind of love that the Creator offers you, and the kind of love which is the vision for all of creation too. Unconditional, unbounded, riotous, hilarious, without preconditions, without expectations. That's a big one. But Peter, I love you where you are, but I know you're on a journey. And isn't that true for us? God loves us where we are, but always invites us to take the next step. How do we know, though, that God's love is unconditional? Because I'm sure we've heard things in church, out of church, that kind of implies that, you know, God would love you more if you did this, this, or this, or if you didn't do this, this, and this, and this. You might have heard that kind of theology. Well, let me leave you with this. Look at the table prepared for all of us this morning. And it doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter what colour our skin is. It doesn't matter what our background is. It doesn't matter what language we speak, what our history is, how much money we have in our bank account or not. It doesn't matter what we have done, what we've been up to, what we have not been up to. It doesn't matter whether we think we're ready. It doesn't matter whether we haven't shown up for a while. It doesn't matter if we didn't book ahead. Did any of you make a reservation this morning, by the way? But every time we show up, including me, there is a place set for us. It's waiting for us. You know, there it is. And there's even a name card, metaphorically, with our name on it. Our place is waiting for us. Every time. Have you ever experienced a moment when you came into church on a Sunday and somebody said, oh, no, not you. you're not ready, you're not worthy. There isn't a place at the table. There is here because God's love is unconditional. And that's the kind of love that is God's dream for you. Free of tolerance, free of expectations, manipulation, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Peter said, yes, Lord, you know I love you, with a few conditions. And Jesus said, you will love me.